Hey traders, it's Ryan from theprivatebanker.com. Just going to do a quick recap for today and yesterday's trade on crude oil, and I'm going to quickly touch base on the SP500 also. So just starting off with crude oil, I mean, it's been a pretty dramatic couple of days. Crude oil is just really on fire at the minute. I mean, if we look at the average true range on crude here, I mean, it's something's really going on here. Do you know what I mean? We're really seeing some volatility pick up, and you can normally see when something's happening, because we see these sort of big spikes in volatility, and we see these sort of big ranges happening on a day. I mean, I came in, we really talked about the sort of the bottoming process we've seen happen on crude oil. I mean, I'm not saying that this is a low, but I mean, it potentially could well be. From what we've seen today, just have to see how we sort of close the week out, but we just basically saw some really strong short liquidation in the market, and just pretty much squeezing out any of the weak inventory in the market. I mean, since we came in and into 2015, this is the start of 2015, this is the high, and I mean, we pretty much was about 2030. Let's quickly have a look. So 54. So it was the hundreds. I don't know. We wasn't that far off of the 2015 high. And like I said, we literally we did the whole of this year's range in 3 days. So Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and obviously we had the inventory day today. So we literally, I think it was about 20% the market rallied, and today I think we dropped about 8-10%. So some pretty wild swings and fear in the market at the moment. But just going to note a couple of things here. I mean, we came into the previous year's range. I mean, we've been talking about this for a little while, and this has been marked up on my chart for some time now. And we came in and we've seen that strong liquidation. We see this potential breakout of this range here, and this range is very important, and so we see this breakout, a very, very strong high volume came into the market here, and we came in today and we just basically we broke back into the bracket now. So I mean, two things can potentially happen now. I mean, we can sort of open higher, and we can, again, this would be the confirmed sort of breakout with buying back into the 2015 range, or last year's range, sorry, the 2014 low, and acceptance. Or we're going to see some potential two-way trade bracketing and a balance until we see the next potential price exploration, potentially down to the low $40 a barrel, and potentially even the $30 a barrel region. We just have to see how this how the auctions play out, but very, very important to see a test inside that of the 2014 lows, and we've seen sellers active again now. So I mean, this could be the heads up that we are rejecting last year's range, and we are going to continue price exploration here. I mean, it's funny, these last 3 days, I mean, all of the Twitter feeds, Bloomberg was all tweeting that crude's now gone into a bull market. I mean, we are very, like I said the other day, we're very far from being in a bull market yet. There is a lot of higher time frame macro rebalancing that needs to sort of happen before we can even think about a bull market here for crude oil. So it's just funny to see what people say, but nevertheless, I mean, there are some changes at the moment. I mean, if we do look at the yearly developing Vwap, I mean, we did see a punch above that 1.5 standard deviation. You can see that the skew is starting to be to the buy side now. I mean, we've seen a pullback to the mean now, so I mean, if we can't trade through the mean in this Vwap and we start to fill in some higher volume, then again, potentially we could break out and see acceptance, and we'll have to sort of take things from there. And if we look at the monthly developing value, I mean, this is the first month we've seen higher value, and obviously we're only 3 trading days into the month. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's a huge amount of volume has come in the last 3 days. So 3 day trading days into the month, and for the time being, we have established higher volume. But I mean, we have such a long time left on this month that anything can happen now. I mean, we've come back into that previous value area, and price could get locked in here potentially, and we could see sort of a destination trade down to this sort of 45, 40. We are starting to already reject the developing value, so again, we'll just have to see how this plays out and how we open tomorrow and what the market wants to do. Again, I mean, I posted this up on Twitter and on the forum. I mean, the expectation was once we see this blow off top, and this was the 2014 low, the prices came back into equilibrium, and we see a destination trade play out all the way to the other side of this week's 1.5 standard deviation. So again, two things can happen here. We can just see rotational two-way trade, which is pretty much what I'm expecting. I mean, we've seen higher value established on the month so far, but we are seeing this rotational value displacement now. So I mean, just because we had high value this week doesn't mean we're going to start to see value migration higher. It's just the first week of higher value that's been clearly established. So again, it's an auction process, and we just have to monitor this. And obviously, it's a day by day, week by week, month by month process, and nothing happens overnight. And like I said the other day, we had broken one time frame in, and we did potentially look to break out of this box and this bracket and balance area, and where we've seen this sort of 3-week balance come in. And this could be, again, 4-week balance, and we could see a new sort of trading range come into play that we need to start working with. But for the minute, we have seen a sort of spike top, and we have seen sellers responsive here now. So again, we just have to see how we close the week. I mean, we've still got 2 trading days left. A lot can happen in 2 trading days, as we've seen over the last 2 days. And on the monthly, I mean, we are still one time framing. I mean, we are still one time framing down from this breakout. So we didn't break that one time framing. So a break of one time frame is going to be above that 55.10. So which is obviously the 2015 current highs in the market. So again, just something else to continue to monitor here. I mean, the first clues have come into the market that we are starting to see a macro rebalance, but this doesn't mean anything at the moment. Obviously, we just have to continue to monitor the auction process. Regardless what happened today, I mean, we came in yesterday and we see this balance. Pretty much it was just a large area of chop and balance, and just the market sort of caught its breath. And then into that H period, we just see this huge liquidation spike, and we see a huge amount of stops being hit, and a lot of panic sort of buy-in, with people initiating buy-in, thinking that we're in this bull market, whatever you want to call it, and then obviously stops getting hit, and people liquidating shorts, getting squeezed out of the market. And today we came in, we opened inside of that the day's range at the lower end of it. It's become a sell-in excess tail, and we basically just referenced, as soon as we came in, we referenced the high of this lower distribution, and we found responsive sellers, and that kind of set the tone for the day. Inventory number came out in D, and we sort of ran the stops, so only one time framing got cut out of the market. We went for a gap fill, and it kind of just evolved from there. And obviously anybody who was establishing long positions here, they kind of added the fuel to the fire to the downside, and we ended up sort of trading back into this previous established balance value area. I mean, this wasn't really, no value really got established on this day. I mean, there was obviously an accumulation here that had to be kept an eye on, but on this day here there was a very there was two-way trade, and there was two-way trade on this day, and we did establish a good value area. And obviously this is what the price did. I mean, obviously this is just an auction, so I mean, the market just went back to the fairest sort of prices that was known into at the time to the market, which was here. So just obviously some very, very interesting price action that we're seeing at the moment, and just trying to see if there's anything I can highlight. Yeah, there are some things. I mean, we left this weird sort of high. I mean, obviously there is an excess in the volume, but I mean, we don't normally see these sort of this passive capping. And when we do see this sort of happening, the market does normally come back and clean this up. I mean, I don't really like to reference the Globex, but I mean, any time the market leaves these sort of poor lows like this, the market does normally come back and clean these up. So it's interesting that we left that mark up here at 52.60. So that's potentially telling us that we have unfinished business up here for the time being. So just something to keep an eye on, and it was not really too much else to look at. I mean, we are in this is the potential bracketing range we're looking at now. I mean, if we do continue to reject that important sort of 53.60 and the other references are put into play, then obviously the destination now becomes the 44.40 and potential further price exploration. But there's no reason why the market can't continue to balance here. So again, we just have to see how this plays out. But in regards to trading this sort of day, I mean, the best the best way to have traded it was obviously to let the market shake itself out off the open. It was a bit of a hard call because you could have looked to have been a buyer, I suppose, looking for prices to come back into value. But I mean, from what we see yesterday and the way that the things unfolded on the higher time frames, and the best way to come in today was you see the rejection from yesterday's value, and you see the auction was to the downside. So it would have been best to have lent to the sell side. If would have been maybe better to wait for the inventory number to come out, and then when we see this imbalance start to come in, and there was this sort of passive capping coming in below the previous lows. But I mean, if we do look here, I mean, there's just no excess got left. Every time we sort of see passive capping below the previous day, I mean, we just had this very, very poor low in the market, and there was just selling. So anybody who was trying to buy it below this previous low of day was just they ended up getting liquidated right here. You can see, and then the market became imbalanced, and we see the auction back to that previous value. So quite a tricky day, I guess, but obviously we had already come back in on the weekly developing value, so obviously the expectation was to rotate to the mean. The mean got capped, there was obviously passive sellers here, and then we rotated down to the lower distribution, which was obviously the lower developing value area, which was obviously expected. We'd already sort of planned and expected these rotations, so the best thing to do is just trade with the higher time frame order flow, and obviously in this case lean to the short side and not get caught off guard trying to buy this. Very interesting things going on the S&P at the minute. Again, some good volatility. I mean, we're only 3 days into this month, and we're already sort of gone from the month, the bracket low almost to the high now. So, and I mean, today we hit the high of the bracket, and we see some decent liquidation into the close. I mean, there was this trap. I mean, I'll show you the footprint. This is I was selling this. I was trying to sell this all day. I mean, I got short here. Market came down, sort of added to the bit, looking to take out this overnight low and potentially hit this point of control and further downside. But we came in, the market just couldn't trade back into this previous value, and it was also hold on 2 seconds. We was also seeing rejection of the developing value here. So I mean, I thought, Jesus Christ, I mean, we just couldn't trade back into value. I mean, I was looking for a mean reversion, we just couldn't trade back into value, and there's buyers here trying to buy the top of value, and we finally see that sort of that spike higher into the closing print right here, and as soon as we spiked higher, I'm going to show you this on a different chart. So as soon as we spiked higher, we was referencing this high at this 46.25, and you can see the passive capping that came into this market was unreal. I mean, we came in and there was just all of these sellers just capping prices. I mean, the market tried to break out, and there was people hitting the bid. I mean, there was a delta was turning positive here. You can see the buying that came in this area here. I mean, the delta here was very, very strong. So there was aggressive market orders coming to the market, but they were just getting absorbed by by passive capping sellers, and they were sitting there with resting sell limits, and they were hitting the bid, and then all of a sudden this huge flush came in, and we just see this huge liquidation into the close. I mean, it was quite an epic trade. It was pretty epic. I mean, I was short, and then I got stopped out my core as we came up out of balance here. And as soon as we see this breakout, and I see that huge passive capping coming in, I just sat there and hit the bid with the market, and almost got all the way back down into the weekly mean into the close. It was a pretty epic trade. I think there's a lot of people trying to buy this, and you can see they just got liquidated. I mean, anybody who's been trying to buy this off the top of the weekly value, they got liquidated into the close here, and then you had more buyers coming in trying to passively buy the previous day's Vwap and Vwap, and then they just got liquidated again here. So anybody who was trying to buy this, they got liquidated pretty fast today. And if we do look at this, I mean, this quarter we've seen rotational behaviour the whole time. I mean, just buy the lows, sell the highs, buy the lows, sell the highs. And again, we came to the high, 1.5 standard deviation, the high of that previous quarter's value, and you can see the response from here. There was definitely sellers here, and there was definitely some liquidation. So hard to say what we're going to say now, but obviously with the current theme that's going on in the market, I mean, this is quite an important area, this sort of 2020. So if we break through this 2020, then then we're game on back for 200 for 2000, and we just sort of go from there. I mean, we'll see how we end the week. I mean, we've still got a lot of trading days left of this month, like I said, and we've already done almost the whole of last month's range on S&P. So it was a very inside month. We have broken any one time frame that could have been happening. So just a lot of stuff to keep an eye on here. I'm not going to go into it in great detail, but some pretty awesome trades at the minute. I mean, very, very volatile market, so I hope everyone is trading safe. And as usual, if you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Good luck and goodbye.